Hello and welcome to TineeGames channel, where the gameplay is tiny and the mistakes are big. Okay, so we are playing Our Life again. So let's get into it. So where did we leave off? We did shopping, grown up, and sandcastle moments. So let's do long day. It was another scorching summer day, the kind where no sooner had you finished one cup of water, you were already filling it up again. Everyone else had something on, so that afternoon it was just you and Shiloh. This didn't happen much, especially since Cove had arrived. Without Lizzie around, Shiloh looked to you for all the answers. It made you feel pleased, frustrated, nothing really. I mean, we don't dislike Shiloh, but I could understand someone else's friend constantly looking up to us. Do you know what? Let's be pleased. Let's make more friends. You might not be in double digits like your sister, but he was only 7. Being the oldest and getting to be the leader was a nice change of pace. You drained yet another drink and frowned at the empty vessel. Your thirst was gone, but you still craved something icy cold and refreshing. Something sweet. Something like popsicle, ice cream cone, ice cream sandwich. Ooh, I like ice cream. Actually, no, I like ice lolly small. I'm going to choose popsicle. You wanted something fruity and brightly coloured. There was nothing like that to be found at home. You knew that without needing to look. Your mums didn't keep sweets in the house. Oh my gosh, what kind of mums are these? Outside there were plenty of places where such goodies could be obtained, but they were shops and demanded payment in exchange for their products. You sighed, you voiced your predicament aloud, you asked Shiloh for help. Well, we already had someone buy us something. I don't really want to get into the habit of like constantly asking for help. Let's see if our mum will give us money. I want a popsicle. Shiloh, who had been draped over the sofa, perked up.
Yeah.
That sounds good. We don't have anything like that in the house, and I don't have any money. Oh no, did I choose the wrong choice? Is she gonna be begging for money? Oh, let me check if I have any. Shiloh rummaged in his backpack and proudly produced an assortment of coins plus one stray button. You set the button aside and counted the coins in neat piles. Just over $1, you announced this to Shiloh. He had almost certainly come to the same conclusion, but he'd been watching you expectantly. It's not enough, it's a start. Yeah, let's say it's a start, and hopefully we can ask our mums for money, because I don't want to just take poor, Shiloh's money. Shiloh beamed at you. We'll need to find some more. Okay. The two of you lifted couch cushions, stuck tiny hands down deep crevices in the sofa and under furniture, and scoured the back of the drawers. Most of what you found was useless or gross. Bent paper clips, fluffy wisp of dust, or sandy crumbs, but every so often one of you would strike silver or bronze and add it to the growing pile of coins. Dusty and disheveled from checking every room and squinting into every tiny nook, the two of you finished pooling your finds. Shiloh held his breath as you counted the coins once again. $2.53 and 2 buttons. You didn't know when the second button had decided to join the party, but you were too pleased with your successful haul to throw it out. Is that enough? You figured he knew the answer, but you appreciated him recognizing your authority on financial and ice cream matters. You straightened up before making your pronouncement. Yeah, we've got enough. You could now afford something at the shops, just one thing, but that was infinitely better than none. Shiloh clapped his hands. Wait, all of that? We can only afford one? Yay! The two of you dashed outside. The promise of sugar buoyed you on to your destination, where breathless but happy you stared at the overwhelming number of options. Oh no, we're back at the marketplace again. Like the shops. What if Cove comes? We barely got enough money for ourselves. Okay. You knew what you wanted, but it wasn't just you who had contributed to the funds to get the treat. He seemed to notice your pause. Aren't you getting a popsicle? Shiloh asked as though he was entirely separate from the decision, rather than someone with a stake in the outcome. Do you mind? No, I don't want to just be someone who's just constantly taking things. Shiloh cocked his head to the side. It was your idea, you should choose. You went ahead and got what you wanted originally. Are you really sure it's okay, or you tried to get something you both wanted anyways? Let's get something that we both want. That way we can share it. We can like split in half. It wasn't fair for you to be the only one to decide when he'd been a main factor in making this happen. Some of the money came directly from his backpack. What do you like? All of them. They're so good. You pressed further. But what do you really like? Popsicles or ice creams? Which is your favorite? Aw, it's so hard to pick. I don't know. Frustrated, you cut to the heart of the matter. You want me to choose? Yeah. And that was that. You got the dessert you wanted originally and hoped Shiloh would actually like it too. Finally, the reward for all your hard work was in your hands. You sucked on the fruity popsicle you'd bought. The icy treat cooled you down perfectly and the zesty flavour was refreshing. You held it out to Shiloh so he could take a turn. He shook his head.
You can finish it.
Aww, Shiloh! He didn't want any? After everything he did to help get it? That was weird. But you accepted the offer, you tried to include Shiloh, you hesitated. It's hot! Have some too. Even if Shiloh said it was okay, every story you'd ever seen on TV or read in a book said that Sharon was caring. You stood your ground, even as the treat started to trickle dangerously towards your fingers. It's only fair that you have some. We both bought it. But you want it more than I do, and getting to play was a lot of fun already, so you can have it. That's more fair. This kid's breaking my heart. You held it out to him. I want you to have some, even more than I want to finish it, so eat your part. Relenting, Shiloh took the treat and gave it a taste. His eyes lit up.
Thank you.
It's really good, thank you. You smiled, pleased with your good deed. You picked the best one. Did he mean that? Shiloh was always nice, no matter what happened. Even if he hated it, you knew he wouldn't say so. Maybe he thought it was gross, and that's the real reason why he didn't want to take some. You had no idea. You studied him as he ate a little more. He had every appearance of enjoying himself. Still weird. The two of you began to head back home as he ate. You walked side by side on the shore in silence, but your thoughts kept drifting to the boy beside you. Why didn't he speak up for himself? It was almost as if Shiloh didn't know how to say what he felt, or was too afraid to. Okay, what are our options? You figured that was his problem and didn't care. Are you scared of me? You thought that was kind of sad. Are we friends? Are we friends? But then, if I say are we friends, he's going to be like, you didn't think we was friends the whole time? Oh my gosh, my anxiety. What should I choose? I'm going to ask if he's scared of us. Shiloh opened his eyes wide, seemingly caught off guard by the blunt question. No way! But you don't tell me things, like what you want to do or what treat we should get. That's not because I'm scared. It's because you have better ideas than I do. Oh, he's not confident, is he? Okay, unfortunately, this was yet another thing you couldn't entirely believe Shiloh on. You hoped it was true and that he really did feel okay around you, though. Shiloh made you unsure about setting a label on the experience of spending the afternoon with just him. There had been good times and there had been confusing ones. You were positive of one thing at least. The treat was delicious and that was nice. The sun was low on the horizon as you returned to your neighbourhood. There you spotted two very familiar figures up ahead, Lizzie and Cove. You opened your mouth to make your presence known to them just as you saw the tears on Cove's face. Oh, he's crying again. Am I heartless? Am I actually heartless? Okay, let's see why he's crying. You walk straight over, Shiloh at your heels. Once there, you defended Cove. We don't even know why he's crying yet. Took a moment to make a joke, accused Lizzie of causing trouble, carefully asked about what happened. Yeah, let's ask what happened. Without a time machine, the only way you were going to find out was by asking the witnesses. Lizzie might have done something, but she could have been in the wrong place at the wrong time, or even come to Cove's aid. You wanted to hear the story. Cove, what happened? Tinee, I got yelled at. He took a deep, steadying breath. Some grandparents got mad at me. Aw, sorry. Lizzie jerked her head in the direction of a nearby house. Your heart sank. You knew exactly what had happened. Every year, the same mean old couple rented out that condo for the summer. You, Lizzie, and Shiloh knew to stay away from them, but Cove couldn't have. They're like that with everyone. Even your mum struggled to find anything nice to say about them, but the elderly pair particularly took offense to the kids. Yeah, Lizzie said. Lizzie drew herself up at that. She looked pointedly in your direction. Uh-huh. I was helping. Okay, why are you giving us evil eyes for, girl? Calm down. That's cool. Is there anything I can do? No, I'm just gonna stay away. Or you could teach them a lesson. Oh, okay. Are we gonna play knock down ginger or something? There was a devilish glint in her eyes. What? You should ding-dong ditch them. Go ring the doorbell and run. It'll be great because they're so slow. They'll never catch you. Ding-dong ditch. Is that what they call it? That's dumb. I don't want to go near them ever again. This kid is so grumpy.
You're just saying that because you're a chicken.
Cove glared, but didn't take the bait. Lizzie turned to you. You're not a chicken, are you? Yeah, cluck cluck. You'd rather just avoid them. You thought they deserved worse. I'll do it. Joe, I'm gonna step up. I'll do it. Really? You took a deep breath and nodded. Lizzie squealed with delight. We'll go hide. Run as soon as you hit the bell. Good luck. Lizzie and Shiloh ran across the road to take shelter in the bushes. Even once they'd settled down, you could make out two child-sized shapes staring from between the leaves. You knew where to look for them though, so you told yourself that the grouchy old couple wouldn't spot it. Cove sighed, his gaze flicking to the house and then back to you. Don't get caught. I'll be quick as a flash. He went to join Lizzie and Shiloh in their hideaway. The weight of 3 pairs of eyes on your back was heavier than anything you'd carried before as you approached the door. You hesitated as you reached for the doorbell, then... we're gonna ring it. Ring or don't ring, we're going to ring this bell. You slapped the buzzer and ran. Blood thumped against your eardrums with every step. Would you make it in time? Approaching the hiding spot, you knew that there wasn't time to go around the bushes as the others had done. You took a shortcut, leaping over them. Or to be more accurate, crashing into the tops of the bushes and then falling over to the other side. Oh no, I guess we're not athletic. Judging from the squeak, it was Shiloh who cushioned your fall. Oh no! Shh! Lizzie put a finger to her lips and nodded at the door. You disentangled your limbs from Shiloh's and spun around to see the old man framed in the hallway, peering back and forth suspiciously. You covered your mouth with your hands, but it wasn't enough to stifle your giggles. Maybe he spotted one of you, or maybe it was the leaves you displaced while jumping, but he locked eyes with the bush and stormed over it in your direction. Shiloh gasped and looked at Lizzie. Run! Your sister did not hesitate to take her own advice. Neither did you and Shiloh. Cove, with just one fully operational arm, took a little longer to get to his feet, but still caught with Shiloh with ease. The old man's hollers propelled you all from the street to the sanctity of the hill. Only once you were safe did you notice the stitch in your chest and the ache of your legs. You flopped down, the blades of grass tickling your face. Lizzie, who had taken the lead in the end, was already lazing on the ground. The 4 of you took a moment to catch your breath and enjoy the feeling of cool grass against your skin.
Cove!
Hey Cove, Cove lifted his head. I told you there were mean grandparents around here. Cove rolled his eyes, then decided this wasn't dismissive enough and rolled his whole body away from your sister. Like a body wave. Lizzie chose to ignore his response and started chatting to Shiloh, who eagerly joined in the conversation. In the back of your mind, you knew you'd be second fiddle again to Shiloh once Lizzie came around. It always went like that. And it was fine, you thought. You still felt a little sad after how much time you spent together today, and it was all annoying. Oh, can we also like Shiloh? He's okay, but I don't really care. It's fine. Shiloh could prefer Lizzie as much as he wanted to. You closed your eyes, laid on your side and relaxed. Some time passed with you like that. It felt good to take a real break. You moved onto your back with a small smile and looked at the darkening sky. The blanket of clouds reminded you of a thick throw you held on the... What? A thick throw? Oh, like a blanket, okay. The blanket of clouds reminded you of a thick throw you curled under on cold rainy days. You wondered if the clouds would be as soft. They lazily floated on by, splitting from each other, merging and morphing into new shapes. You saw a dolphin, you saw a car, an alpaca, a smiley face, you saw cloud shapes. An alpaca. You saw a fluffy alpaca in the sky. You nudged Cove and pointed to it. Can you see the alpaca? Cove joined you in gazing skyward.
Whoa.
It's more like a llama. Ugh, of course he has to just not agree. Hey! He chuckled at your reaction. Okay. All the sun's light faded from the sky and the moon rose higher. Lizzie got to her feet, dusting strands of grass off her bare legs, and surveyed her surroundings. The ocean, visible from the crest of the hill, beckoned with every sweep of the tide. Let's go to the beach. Dude, it's nighttime. There was no argument from the other two. Shiloh was still Shiloh, and Cove would never say no to going to the shore. He was a child of the sea. You wanted to go there too, was too tired to argue. Happy to do what others wanted, objected. I don't want to go. I don't want to. Tough. It's 3 against 1 and it's my good idea. Oh my gosh, this sister's annoying me. Sighing, you trudged after the others. You stepped onto the sand for the second time that day, but it felt different at night. The beach was nearly quiet at this hour. Abandoned sandcastles and footsteps in the sand too big to belong to any of you were the only indication of how busy it had been only hours earlier. The 4 of you kicked shoes off and removed socks and walked along the water's edge. The waves tickled your feet. I wonder what would happen if you tried to take a bath in the ocean with shampoo and everything. That would be bad for the fish.
Jeez.
I didn't say anyone would do it. Jeez, you don't have to be serious about everything. You're the one who asked what would happen. That is what would happen. It'd hurt the fish. I like bubble baths at home. They're a lot of fun. Me too, bubble baths are luxurious. You never heard Lizzie use that word before. Mummy loves to have bubbles in her bath. She'll turn the lights off and have candles. I'm gonna do that next time. Hey, when's your mum coming to pick you up anyways? Not for a while, she's busy. What about your dad? How come you never talk about him? Nobody does. Don't you know you're not supposed to ask something like that? Why would somebody want to talk about something they never talk about? You kept your eyes on the ground, watching your toes get swallowed by waves. Even if Shiloh never seemed upset when this topic came up, it made you feel awkward just for having both of your mums. It's okay. I'm like Lizzie and Tinee. I don't have a dad. But I don't have 2 mums. I just have 1. She's really great. Oh, sorry. I only have 1 now too. My mom isn't here. She's back at home. It's just my dad with me.
Sorry.
Aw, I never had a dad or anything, so I don't feel bad. It's really sad that your mom is gone. Cove nodded. Is he gonna cry again? You joked about Shiloh's mum getting together with Cove's dad. Yeah, I don't think Cove would like that. Even if they're all different, our parents are good in their own way. Yep. Yeah. Cove couldn't muster a response. You don't think he truly disapproved though. The silence broke with a splash as Lizzie kicked in your direction. Cold water and sudden sand splattered against your legs. Lizzie giggled, foot still outstretched from the kick. Cove joined in, striking the incoming waves to make a splash of his own. Shiloh scurried out of Cove's spray zone with a grin. You made a run retaliating. You use your foot to smack the water pooling around you, sending an arc of sea foam flying back onto your sister. She laughed as she sputtered. Some of the salty sea water having landed in her mouth. She spat it out. Yuck! Lizzie chased you, intent on revenge. You dashed up and down the coast, making it in turns. Oh, whoops. You dashed up and down the coast, taking it in turns to be the predator and the prey, as well as joining forces to take down Charlotte or Cove. Alliances were silently forged and wordlessly broken. Everything was fair game in war. Charlotte's brief exclamation was drowned out by the biggest slash yet, caused by him falling face first onto the ground. That would have been bad enough without the wave that followed, cascading over his prone body. Charlotte sat up, shaking his head like a dog coming in from the rain, as you all hurried over to check on him. His hair was plastered to his head, and his soaked clothes clung. If there was any part of him that was still dry, you couldn't see it. That was crazy. Are you okay? Yeah, my foot got stuck and I fell.
You dumbo.
Way to go, Shiloh, you dumbo. You offered him some help, let him get up by himself. Yeah, let's help him up. Oh, okay. Shiloh didn't take your outstretched hand. After a moment, you dropped it. Lizzie was too busy snickering to notice and held her hand out to Shiloh too. He reached over and took it. Slowly, he started to pull himself from the ground. Then he slipped on the slick sand, dragging him and Lizzie down just in time for another wave to hit. The water rolled over them.
Sorry.
Why didn't he take our hand? Rude. Okay. What were the odds of that happening twice in a row? You thought they must be low. There's no way Shiloh would do something like that on purpose, then pretend it was an accident, especially not to Lizzie. Even if your relationship with Shiloh felt unclear, he did at least like her a lot. Lizzie was his favourite, right? Smiling boldly, Lizzie extracted herself from the ground and wiped the streak of sand from her cheek. She didn't intend to let this embarrass her. Shiloh got up again as well, this time without incident. He still looked like a drowned puppy, but I didn't stop Cove laughing at the two of them. With that, it was time to call it a day. The four of you drudgingly made your way back home, leaving a trail of wet footsteps and sand in your wake as damp clothes weighed the group down. Your mums were outside chatting to Cove's dad. We're back! Your mum's face fell as they took in the state you all were in, ranging from messy to soaked.
No.
Elizabeth, is that all you have to say for yourself? You brought half the beach back with you. They certainly did. What's Marigold going to do when she comes to get Shiloh? Is that how you want him to be for the long drive home, cold and filthy? Lizzie's expression turned sulky over the scolding. Being the oldest could be fun, but it also meant that she was the first to get in trouble when something went wrong. Mr. Holden, on the other hand, chuckled as he ruffled Cove's matted hair. You've been out making memories, bucko. I'm glad you had a good time with your friends. Cove used his slightly moist cask arm to push his dad off. Mr. Holden's eyes widened when he noticed even that had gotten wet. Now he was worried too. I think they could have found a less risky way to spend time and had just as much fun. That might be right. Kids, what can you do? Come on. Oh my gosh. Why can't I read? Oh my gosh. That might be right. Kids, what can you do? Come on, Cove, let's go get you cleaned up and dried off. We wouldn't want that cast to have to be reset. Cove winced at the thought. But when are we gonna find out why his arm was broken in the first place?
Okay.
That a boy. Mr. Holden casually bent down and plucked Cove up off the ground, ultimately holding Cove against his chest. Sand was already transferring from Cove onto him, but it didn't seem to bother Mr. Holden. Cove protested being carried, but only got a reassuring pat on the back for his trouble.
Take care.
Good night, Cove. Thank you for the talk, Cliff. Night. Games family and Shiloh too.
Fine.
Well, we better go do what we can to fix you guys up too. Come on, everybody inside. I want you to march straight to the downstairs bathroom.
Ugh.
Oh, we got money. The downstairs bathroom? There are 2 bathrooms in this house? Yes, Mum. Okay, Lizzie's mum. Don't worry about stopping to wipe your feet on the mat this time. That won't do much good tonight. Sitting on an old beach towel your mummy had found, you waited in the hall until you were less sandy. You weren't allowed to go to your room or walk around the house, but you did get to eat a sandwich for dinner there. It felt like an indoor picnic. It had been decided that Shiloh would wash first and borrow some of your clothes. He was already finished and packed away in his mum's car. Miss Fields had come to collect him a little while ago. It was a bit of a funny experience seeing him without his hat on for once. Lizzie, being much more soaked than you, got to go in the tub next. It wasn't a bubble bath as she had hoped. This was a no fun allowed clean up session. At least that's what she claimed. Not much longer and it would be your turn. When the bath was done, you'd have to go right to bed. After a day like this though, you were glad there weren't going to be any further events. Drifting off to sleep sounded like a great idea. Okay. That was a pretty long moment, huh? I guess maybe the fact that we didn't care whether Shiloh liked us or not, maybe that had to do with why he ignored our hand. What do you guys think? Should we just quit? Actually, no, let's just do the fireflies. These are a little bit long. Struggle to read a little bit.
Alright!
Okay. Alright, tonight we're going to catch fireflies. But at this blunt declaration from your sister, you looked up from your macaroni and cheese dinner. Oh, is it another day? Okay. Fireflies were a familiar sight over summer, coming out on warm nights to dance through the sky. Tonight was particularly balmy. You knew there were bound to be a ton of them around. Oh, you are you? Yeah. You started eating faster. You looked over at your mum. She pushed your food on your plate. Let's go. A grin curved your lips as you started to eat a bit faster, excited for what was to come. It seemed like you were too excited, however, as you started to choke and cough on your food from shoving it down so quickly. Mummy reached over to pat you on the back, firmly helping you to dislodge the noodles and enabling you to breathe again. Who was eating macaroni and cheese? Noodles. You took a big gulp of water from your glass, giving your mums a sheepish look. Oops. That's a good idea, Lizzie. Can we miss games? Shiloh tapped his fork against the table excitedly, his face lighting up as he looked at Lizzie. It was unusual for Shiloh to still be here. Like always, his mum had to bring him over really early in the morning before her job started. But normally she would have picked him up by now. She called before dinner to let your mums know she'd be late. You didn't hear why, probably more work things. You thought maybe getting to hang out with Shiloh for longer is what made Lizzie want to keep running around outside. Staying at home and watching TV was never an option for her with guests over. That's why you were pretty sure she'd get your mums to agree. Well, it's already so dark out there. Lizzie gave Mum the best puppy dog eyes she could, slowly spinning mac and cheese into her mouth while you waited there for their response.
There.
Let them go. Nights like this don't happen every day. Your parents exchanged a look, then Mum eventually sighed and nodded back. Yes! Along with Lizzie's cheer, you threw your arm up in triumph, but waited until you'd finished chewing to say anything, because you knew it was rude to talk with your mouth full. Fine. Just make sure you stay on the hill behind our house with all the poppies, okay? Duh, Mum. That's where most of them are. The idea had only just been planted in your head, but already you could just picture all the glowing lights spread out in front of you, like the fairies from the bedtime stories Mummy reads sometimes. All too quickly it became a race to see who could finish their food first. No choking at the dinner table now. That's right, if someone died, we'd have to cancel the firefly trip after all. What is with that grin? What on odd reaction. Mom said it like a joke, but you knew that they were both telling you kids to slow down. Charlotte did immediately. When you glanced at Lizzie, you saw her still eating faster than she should. Elizabeth,
Jeez.
no one's gonna die, sheesh. A knock on the door interrupted Mom before she could no doubt scold your sister. I'll get it. Your big sister jumped out of her seat and ran over to the door, pulling it open without looking out the window to see who it was.
Huh?
You shifted in your seat to try and get a glimpse of the unexpected guest.
Hi.
Good evening, Cove. Your mummy had already walked to the door by the time you managed to see past Charlotte's flappy hat. Cove? You had no idea why he was here all of a sudden, but you supposed it wasn't worth worrying over. Instead, your eyes landed on Lizzie, who was looking at Cove like he had come here specifically to ruin all her plans. Then, for a few seconds, Cove said nothing. He only stood there and looked up at your mummy with a face almost like he was considering turning around and leaving. My dad told me to drop this off, because I guess he borrowed it from you. Cove took a familiar screwdriver from out of his large side pocket, eyes now dropped to the floor. We left ours back home when we moved. Great. Thanks, bye. Lizzie's so deep. Like, chow me though.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here, why don't you come inside for a bit? Lizzie crossed her arms and lifted her chin. Cove shrugged and Mum stood from the table too. I'll give your dad a call to let him know you got here alright. Cove shuffled fully inside, eyes remaining on the ground. Mummy closed the door behind him.
Hi.
Hi, Cove. Charlotte gave Cove a friendly smile while waving by holding up his hand and opening and closing his fingers. Cove nodded in response. Cove, are you going to catch 5,000 bus? You can come outside of bus if you want to. You weren't sure what to say. Invite him to play. You could see Lizzie eyeing you for mentioning the excursion to an outsider, but she'll get over it. If Cove said no, you'd understand though. Catching fireflies wasn't something that everyone liked to do.
Okay.
I want to see them. I'd have caught one before. It's too bad he didn't have a chance before now. The fireflies weren't out when he first moved in, and there must not have been anywhere he used to live. We can't go until after dinner. After she pointed this out, Lizzie walked back to the table and took her seat. There wasn't much left on her plate. Since this was very true, you decided to finish up your own stuff as well. Cove stepped closer and eyed what was on the menu for your family's meal. Have you eaten yet? Yeah, my dad and I ate earlier. What did you have? Eggs. What, just eggs? The clipped one-word answer seemed to discourage Shiloh from asking any more questions. His eyes slowly wandered back to the last scraps of food on his plate. Her phone call to Cove's dad must have ended because your mum came back into the room.
Okay.
Cove, your dad said you can stay for a little while if you'd like, but he's going to come get you before it gets too much later. Sure.
Fun.
Oh, fun. This will be so nice. As you polished off the meal, you hoped it would be too. The three of you all finished eating shortly after, and Lizzie led the way outside. Remember, don't stray too far. It's fine, Mom. Charlotte trailed so closely after Lizzie, he was nearly stepping on her heels. Cove hesitated at the door. Coming? After a moment, he
Bye.
did. Bye, children. The two of you were a good 10 or 15 feet behind Lizzie and Shiloh by the time you walked outside. You pushed the door shut behind you, watching their figures get farther and farther away.
Hurry up!
You're so slow, Tinee. We don't have all night. You started to run when you heard Lizzie's voice calling you, but paused when you saw Cove still walking at a relaxed pace. Are you not going to come? You tugged him along, you walked with him, you waved at him to hurry, you ran off. Could you imagine just like running off leaving this kid? No way. Let's tug him along. Oh, but what if we hurt his hand? Oh well, let's go. You gave his arm a pull, but immediately recalled when he hissed. I knew it. I knew I was going to end up accidentally hurting him. Darn it. In your hurry, you'd accidentally grabbed his cast arm. You hadn't thought about that. Sorry. He's going to hate us. It's fine. Just go away yourself. But you couldn't help but feel bad as he rubbed his arm and refused to look at you. But since it didn't seem like he wanted you there, you he did what he said and hurried to the hill. Oh, so we left him anyways? There were already a lot of fireflies out, glowing, bobbing about like buoys on the wave. Lizzie was standing on top. Shiloh was spinning in circles somewhere around the middle. Where's Cove? You looked behind you, wondering if you'd upset him enough to send him home. But a second later, he rounded the corner, looking around at all the fireflies with interest.
Wow.
Shiloh took a moment to come over and welcome the both of you to the hill. Hi guys, it's really great out, huh? See how many there are? Yeah. A firefly danced through the air, landing on Cove's sea green head. Shiloh couldn't help but giggle. You and Shiloh couldn't help but giggle. You quite looked on, you shoot the bug away. Covering your mouth with a hand, the sound escaped you, and Cove looked at you in confusion. You gestured to his head, and he reached up, making the firefly dart away. Cove jumped, then followed after the glow. Oh look, Lizzie has one. That's amazing. Shiloh ran up to the highest point of the hill, making sure not to lose his hat or backpack along the way. You hummed as the group divided and conquered, shifting your gaze to the dozens of other fireflies sailing around. The game was on. Okay, what are the options? You had a bandage on your thumb when you tried to be cautious of that. When did we get hurt? You had a bandage on your palm and you tried to be cautious of that. You had 2 bandages on your hand and you were cautious of that. You were good at not getting cuts or scratches, so you weren't too worried about that. When did we get a bandage? I don't think we have one. Did we get hurt? I don't think so. Spotting one close by, you approached it with assassin-like stealth, crouching down to make yourself seem like less of a threat. Slowly dragging one foot in front of the other, you crept up towards it, arms outstretched. You closed your hands around the little glowing orb, careful to not crush it. The firefly landed on your palm, almost docile. You stared down at your prize in delight. Its tiny legs tickled your skin, and you giggled at the sensation. Cove kept up with his own target, but when he tried to grab it, his pink cast waved awkwardly through the air, foiling his efforts to clap his hands around the firefly. Cove watched it vanish into thin air with a dissatisfied expression on his face. We encourage him to try again, telling him about the firefly you have with a joke. Let's just show him the firefly we have. Hey, wanna see the one I got? Cove didn't notice you. He was more preoccupied with continuing the hunt, hopefully without his cast getting in the way this time. That was fine. You had your own plans. You decided to collect more. Let's sit on the grass and watch. Let's sit on the grass and watch. You quietly took a seat among the flowers. The others were jumping and dashing all about. You saw how many times they succeeded and failed, how Shiloh almost tripped a couple of times. It was a dramatic show, though around you it was calm. The lights of the stars and fireflies surrounded you peacefully. It was a beautiful night. You laughed quietly to yourself as you watched the others, and Shiloh finally managed to catch a firefly between his small hands. His eyes lit up, and when he spread his fingers to take a peek at it, the bug escaped and flew off into the air. Oh! You watched as he pounced after it once more, but your eyes soon landed on Cove, who had failed to catch a firefly yet. You cheered him on, you scared him, let's see what happens. Let's cheer him on. You can do it, Cove. Cove smiled at you for just a moment before returning to the firefly he had been trailing with renewed enthusiasm. While Cove returned to hunting fireflies, you settled for laying back against the soft grass, watching the poppies swaying around you and the fireflies hovering against the vast sky.
Come on!
Tinee, Cove, get up here, we're gonna have a race. The shouting caught you off guard. It had been quite a while since you've heard from Lizzie or Shiloh. You glanced over to see them both standing on top of the hill again, Lizzie beckoning you with quick hand gestures. If she was like that, you knew there wasn't much room for disagreement. Up the incline you went. From the corner of your eyes, you saw Cove was coming as well. He didn't care for Lizzie a lot, so you thought he might be intrigued just by the idea of a race. Hi.
Cove!
Hi, Cove. You can't roll down the hill. You could hurt your arm again. You'll be the referee for the rest of us. As Lizzie pointed this out, Cole froze in place. Oh, it was that kind of race. He frowned down at his cast. That was the second time it got in the way tonight. What? Yeah, you'll watch and see who gets to the bottom first. That's important. Got it?
I guess.
The cast was sturdy. If he was careful, he could have done it. Lizzie might have just been looking for a reason to make someone else referee, but it was already decided. You go into position for the race. I'll stay with Cove. I'm gonna do something else. I'll stay with Cove.
Really?
Really? Why? You don't have to. It's okay. I want to watch. You moved beside him on the top of the hill, even though Lizzie eyed you in the face. That's not how races work. You only need one referee. Dude, you only need more than one person to race with you. Shrugging your shoulders, you refused to budge, and Lizzie let out a huff before throwing her hands in the air. Fine. I'll be the winner whether you join or not. Did she only want people to, race with her so that she could beat them all? Lizzie moved to lay down, and Shiloh did the same. Cove stood slightly to the side to get a better vantage point, and you stood next to him. Count down. Cove stood up a little straighter. It seemed like he was taking his newfound referee duty seriously. 3, 2, 1, go! Lizzie and Shiloh took off, letting gravity do the work and rolling at high speed towards the bottom of the hill. Whoops, we have to narrate it again because I accidentally turned off my mic for this part. Okay, so, where were we? Lizzie and Shiloh took off, letting gravity do the work and rolling at high speed towards the bottom of the hill. You and Cove leaned forward to watch them go, eyes peeled for which of the two would reach the bottom first. It's actually been months since I recorded this, so I don't even remember if I had any fun commentary to say. But it's taken a long time, so bear with me. They were both neck and neck until about halfway down the hill. Lizzie started to veer off to the side, giving Shiloh a huge advantage. She obviously hadn't noticed a thing, and as soon as Shiloh reached the bottom of the hill, he jumped up excitedly and threw his hands in the air. I won! Almost immediately, he fell back onto the grass, still dizzy from his roll down the hill. Lizzie stomped out of the bush she had ended up in, spluttering angrily and brushing leaves from the front of her dress. Not bad, you got lucky. Let's do it again and see who wins for real. Kids, it's time to come in. No! You snickered, feeling grateful you hadn't been part of the mini debacle. You caught Cove's eyes and saw that he was doing the same. It had gotten late and was beginning to feel just a bit chilly as you made your way out of the hills, but the cold in the air hadn't dampened anyone's spirits. The four of you walked back home together side by side down your neighborhood street, discussing the evening, with each person trying to prove that they were the one who caught the most fireflies. You knew that whoever really did catch the most didn't matter much anyway. All that mattered was that you all had a good time, which, judging by the smiles on everyone's faces, you did. Okay, so that is the end of episode 2, I guess. I feel like I should actually be cutting these shorter, but I don't know if I'm going to. We'll see. So yeah, we did all of the moments that was available to us. And with that, let's end it for here. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.